Today we are going to talk about in-ears on in-ear monitor wireless systems specifically. Information will be similar for wireless mics, but it's a little bit different because we're talking about combining a signal instead of distributing a signal. And so we are combining in-ear monitors into one antenna. The reason we're going to do this is because we want to get rid of dropouts, RF interference, the noise you hear sometimes. When you see a system like this, where there's multiple antennas close by together, connected to their original systems, whether it's on the front of the units or on the back of the units, this can cause issues. And so those noises that you hear, that dropout that you have, that's usually caused by this. Now, it is better to have your antennas on the front of your units spread out, because ideally you want them to be 20 inches, more than that, a few feet ideally, but a lot of times we'll see that is because people will combine with like coax little combiners. They'll go like 2 out into a coax combiner, put them on the front. Another 2 out into a coax combiner, put it on the front. The problem with that is you're degrading your signal. So you're using one unpowered small antenna that doesn't have the capability to truly combine into multiple units. What you really need to do is get a single powered antenna, or even a passive one, but that's from a good brand, because it's going to be slightly powered enough to combine multiple units. And that's going to get rid of all of the issues that happen from the antennas that are connected to your system. So a lot of times, if you're a newer church, a smaller church, maybe you've existed for a while, but you have a system like this, where it's in a rack, you have multiple units, multiple antennas on the back, multiple antennas maybe on the front. They're all too close together, and that's what's causing the issues that you're having with dropouts, with wireless problems. So usually, like I said, you want to be a wavelength apart, which is about 20 inches if you're in the 600 megahertz range. But ideally, you'd be even multiple feet apart. And so the nice thing about when you have one antenna is you don't have to have this issue of multiple antennas. You don't have to think about how are they spaced? Are they correct? Are they the correct distance for wavelengths? And so it gets rid of like that factor of having to worry about that. But then another benefit of having a system like this is it's going to be powered through a single box that has the correct power to actually pull in all the signals you need. And so you're getting one directional source instead of kind of a passive, unpowered unit that's just not giving you the quality of power you need to actually receive the signals or to send the signals. And you can get passive units like this. This one's powered. You can get passive ones. But the passive ones, they are better than even multiple antennas because they're still using a distribution box that is powered. And so that box is built for that. But either way, ideally you're going to have a powered antenna and it's going to be directional. And you don't want omnidirectional because it's going to pick up interference from all around. But not only that, it's not going to go as far. So if you get a powered unit and it's directional like this, it is better for in-ear monitor systems. Now the best place positionally to put something like this is to put it kind of like we're on stage facing the crowd right now. So ideally it's going to be behind me and kind of up, angled down. The reason behind that is because I'm typically going to have my in-ear pack on my back. It's not like I'm going to put it on the front. That'd be a little odd. So I'm going to have it on my back. Of course, you might dance around the stage, turn around. That's okay. Those things happen. But the ideal placement for in-ear system is generically going to be behind the people. Now, right now I have these antennas here connected, and I have like these long ones, these medium length ones, these small ones. It really doesn't matter what antennas you have. If you have them close together, that is your issue. Now, of course, your antennas need to be in the right frequency range. The nice thing about these systems, like this one from Pheynx Pro, is that the range that these antennas come with is typically very large, and most likely is going to cover your system already. You can look up the frequency range on the products, but you most likely, if you have a current wireless in-ear system, it's most likely in a legal range, and that legal range is covered by these. So that's a nice thing about this. You don't typically have to worry about the frequency range. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch over these to be not on these individual mic antennas, and instead I'll put them on this antennas that came with the Pheynx Pro combiner. All right, so now I have the coax cable going directly out of my wireless systems into my Pheynx Pro combiner. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I have my in-ears on. I have my Shure pack here. It's a PSM 300. And when I just had the small antenna that I was using, which is a proper antenna for that, the frequency range, I was already just right here getting like a little bit of interference and dropout. And primarily, again, that's because there was multiple units on. They were all close together, so there was that intermodulation issue that was going on. Now I have them all plugged into the Pheynx Pro, pointed directly at me, so it's a strong signal. But I no longer am hearing the RF issues, the dropout, the noise. So immediately, like, this is a more clear and definite kind of, yeah. So what I did was I plugged each one individually. So like there's antennas out on each unit. Plugged each of them into the combiner. And then from the combiner, we have this antenna out that's running into the antenna. And the nice thing about the Pheynx Pro is it came with a little stand. You're probably not going to have it on the stand because you're probably going to have it mounted somewhere in your room. But at least if you're portable or you move it a lot or you just need to put it somewhere, that's a good place to put it. You could even put it on your front of house, pointed directly at the stage. Again, recommendation is from behind, but whatever you got to do. I'm going to go walk off stage because I'm curious, listening with this system, how I've never used Pheynx Pro before. We have Shure here at our church. And so I'm just going to listen as I talk and see how my in-ears work going all the way to the door over there. Hopefully that's in focus good enough for you guys. So I'm walking off the stage now and still hear myself clear as day. That antenna pedal is not pointed at me at all, and it's still picking me up. Walking back here, I'm going to go through the doors. I might cut out on my mic before I hear it cut out on my in-ears, so if it does and you hear me cutting out, it's not the in-ears that are cutting out, unless I tell you it is. So I still sound great. My in-ears are working perfectly fine. Walking out the door. Okay, so it is cutting out now that I'm out the door. I can still hear, but there's just like a little bits of dropout. But in the room and far away, perfect signal. Whether I was close to it, far away, whatever. Again, we use the Shure unit here, but it's expensive. Actually, we're using Sennheiser now. We were using Shure. Right now, the combiner we have in our system is Sennheiser. It's expensive, and if you are just getting into this, there's not necessarily a reason to spend more money on the more expensive brand because, honestly, the Pheynx Pro is doing exactly what I expect when I'm using our Sennheiser or Shure systems. So if you want to save some money, I would recommend this brand. Obviously, this is my only time I've tested it out, so I'll test it out on a Sunday morning, and I'll kind of let you know how I feel about it, probably in the description and stuff like that. But from my experience right now, this feels exactly how my Shure and Sennheiser combiners sound. And this video isn't intentionally just here to advertise Pheynx Pro. In fact, it's not at all. They just sent it to me to test because I asked to test it. So that was very nice of them. But I'm all about making sure that churches are resourced, whether you're small or large, medium, whatever, to accomplish your needs with the least thing possible. Like, we don't need to spend the most thing in the world. Why would we do that when we can find something more affordable that works just as well? And so right now, I would say this is a good recommendation because it's only a few $100s, where Shure, Sennheiser, RF Venue are all well over $1,000, into the thousands for a similar unit. So this is a no-brainer for me. Recommend this. If you have questions about combiners, how they work, why you use them, or any questions about your existing antennas, feel free to put in the comments. Love talking about this stuff, and let me know if you need anything. Oh, also quickly, don't forget to subscribe because these are the types of videos that I make. Especially subscribe to my Instagram and TikTok because I'll make short videos there where you can just learn quickly a quick tip or trick with church production, cheaper equipment that works well, that sort of thing. But make sure to subscribe so you can see videos like this. See you.